Grave Tone.
Welcome to Grave Tone Podcast, where horror comes to life in every form it takes. I'm Meaghan.
I'm Arthur.
And we're doing more Fantasia coverage. We got a double feature.
And I haven't seen these movies.
Yeah, okay, so that's it. Quick notes. Arthur was out of town, but that did not stop me, yours truly, from going to see more movies at this festival.
Meaghan's doing double duty overtime shit over here.
My goodness, there were so many movies. So, yeah, I wasn't really going to, miss a few of them. So I figured that I would check them out. And this gives us kind of an opportunity to do a little bit of like a spoiler-free types of episode as well, where I'm not going to get into too many details. One, because obviously these films haven't been released yet.
I want spoilers.
No. But two, because...
I want my elephant.
Oh, because Arthur hasn't seen them yet. I'm trying to be nice, and apparently all I'm getting is shit for it. So, because these...
I want more info.
Mostly because Arthur hasn't seen them yet, and I believe that in both cases, I believe that he would probably like to at some point.
Exactly.
So, yeah. And I think we're going to have...
enough juice.
I think just because of, circumstance, there is going to be at least another one of these episodes before the end of our coverage. Probably. Because you won't have a chance to see a couple of the others. I've already seen one other one without you.
I know.
So we're doing a double feature today, and we'll probably do another one later as well. Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about two films. I was trying to decide, I've seen three without you so far, and I was trying to decide how to put together this episode, and I figured that I would pick the two films that we're going to talk about today because they are very, very different films. Tonally, stylistically, everything in them is very different, so they're very different stories. However, they do both have a through line of men being shitty.
Wow, that's your connection point.
Correct.
Jesus
and I felt like they would fit together very well because of that.
Great.
So this is going to be our double feature review-ish episode for today. But like I said, spoiler-free because neither of the films are released. So keep that in mind.
Fine. Whatever.
Oh, boy. You're welcome. As usual, please, if you are enjoying our coverage, feel free to rate and review us on whatever platform you're listening on, because it really helps us get the episodes out in front of more people, and we really appreciate it. And Gary, who is our resident ghoul, is currently, digging a grave in your honor. So
that's right. And also, depending on where you're listening, if you want ad-free, subscribe to us on Spotify. All the episodes there are ad-free, except for,
Unless you don't have the free version of Spotify, so don't yell at me for that later.
Those we can't control, but everything else inside is ad-free.
Yes. So, keep that in mind, too. So, like I said, we're talking about two movies today. The first film that we are going to be talking about, which I think from a horror audience perspective is going to be something that most people are looking forward to, is Penny Lane is Dead.
I've heard of this one, actually.
Yeah. So this film had its international premiere at Fantasia on the 20th of July.
Mm-hmm.
And it is actually, just as a heads up, it is receiving a wider release via Shudder on August 28th. So this is upcoming. This will be happening in the next month or so by the time you guys are hearing this, so that's cool.
Shudder's smart, man. They're just picking up horror movies from Fantasia.
They know.
You fucking smart.
Yeah, they know. I mean, okay, so the film itself actually did have its official premiere back in 2025.
Yeah, it was in July 2025 in Australia because it's an Australian movie. October.
Yes, October of 2025 at the Australian Film Festival. So this is an Australian film. It is the feature film debut from writer-director Mia Kate Russell. She's previously actually had several shorts that have aired at Fantasia, my understanding from the introduction. She was at the screening of the film, as well as a couple of the actors in the film as well. So my understanding was that that's it. This is her feature debut, but she has previously had some shorts, and this was her kind of venturing into new territory. Let me read the quick synopsis from IMDb just to give you guys kind of an idea of things, and then I can get into more of my thoughts about everything. Set in 1986 during a scorching Aussie summer, three best friends' celebration at a beach house turns into a blood-soaked fight for survival when a prank goes horribly wrong.
I like that. That's a cool setup. Literally anything could happen.
So this film is a bit of a combination, I would say, of a few different tropes in horror. It is kind of a prank gone wrong film. There is an element of that, and it is also partially a home invasion film.
Oh, damn, okay.
I would say. So it's got a little bit of everything. It is period set. To that point, it is set in 1986. It follows three friends. Let me go through a quick cast of people just so that people are kind of aware. So it does star Bailey Spalding as the titular Penny Lane, as well as Tali Faraday as the character of Tony, and Alexandra Jensen as the character of Amy. These are our three friends who have graduated high school and they are planning for the future, but prior to doing that, they are doing like a girls' night essentially at Penny's family's cabin near the water. It's kind of in the outback, like a little bit further out from the city, essentially. So they're doing that. However, their evening is interrupted when Penny's cousin, Kat, shows up. So Kat is played by Sophia Wright Mendelsohn, who is delightfully unhinged in this film. Boy, she's crazy.
Nice.
So she is like a messy bitch who shows up. She is the one that causes the prank that kind of sets off the chain of events. And she is also the person that causes the home invasion to happen, because after there are, I will just say, words exchanged between characters in the film and a fight to a degree that happens because of this prank that she causes in the first place that the other characters have no knowledge of. She decides that she's going to call her quote-unquote boyfriend to come and pick her up at the house, and her boyfriend is like an ex-convict piece of shit, horrible human being, like career criminal, essentially. Jesus. He is played by, let me just double check so that I actually remember that I have all the people correctly. He is played by an actor, I believe, named Ben O'Toole. He plays the character of Angus. Angus shows up with two of his colleagues, for lack of a better term, and they proceed to inflict chaos and mayhem in, to a degree, the worst way possible on these characters. I feel like I need to give some trigger warnings up front for people for this one. This actually does feel like one where I do need to give that. Just be aware of it. This, like I said, this is obviously partially a prank gone wrong and partially a home invasion, but it is also partially a revenge film. So do be aware. I'm not going to go into too many details because it is kind of rough, but there is assault that does take place in the film. It is not like visually something that you see on camera. It is heard, like you can hear sort of what's going on to a degree. And I will say that after that scene does happen, which is like pretty rough when you're just kind of sitting and watching it, after that scene does occur, there is dialogue that suggests that the man who is perpetrating this is not able to rise to the occasion.
Wow.
Is the way that I will put it. I'm really trying to keep things as PG as possible here, so do be aware of that like it's a little bit ambiguous to a degree. However, there is 100% still assault that's taking place, and that's rough. And I have been reading, I've sat with this for a couple of days now, and I've been reading some reviews from people too. This is definitely getting a little bit of a mixed reaction from people. And I will say that tonally, the film overall does try to play out as more of like a horror dark comedy. However, a lot of the brutality that's being inflicted on the characters
just too much.
It takes you out of it a little bit. This is definitely very much an Ozploitation film. Australians just do things very gritty.
Yep.
And it's definitely something that leans into that. There's a lot of really enjoyable stuff in the film, particularly through the performances of multiple different characters. Ben O'Toole as Angus is absolutely fucking batshit crazy, and like I mentioned, Sophia Wright Mendelsohn as the character of Kat is insane. She's crazy. She really carries a lot of what's going on in the film that way. But yeah, I think it's just good for people to be aware that there's a lot of really rough stuff that does happen in this, and a lot of like unpleasant circumstances for the different characters.
It's an Australian horror movie. I feel like you should know what you're walking into.
Not everybody does, though, because not everybody's necessarily watched that much Australian horror.
Okay, watch Australian horror movies, then you'll know what to expect.
Like just kind of be aware that that's it. They do tend to kind of go in with a very dark and unhinged sense of humor. Very often, I'm thinking of things like The Loved Ones and stuff like that, that do kind of like sort of toe that line a little bit. But I can understand, in contrast to that, some of the reviews that I'm seeing where people were like very bothered by this. I don't think that like assault revenge films are for everybody in the first place, because they're very rough, and I will say that, yeah, there are attempts maybe to break the tension with certain jokes at certain times, but also I could feel in the screening there were at least a few times that I think there was meant to be a laugh and it did not get one. So while
it's a difficult balance that
correct.
maybe was not fully respected in a sense.
Yeah, maybe not entirely. That said, this is overall like a gritty, very action-packed film. There's a lot of stuff going on. There are a lot of crazy sequences. It is fucking gory. The special effects, like makeup and stuff like that, is really, really good. Like, it's excellent throughout the course of it. There's a lot of, I will say, it's a revenge film, so there is a lot of revenge that happens. There's a lot of comeuppance that happens to the people who are inflicting these horrible fucking things on these characters who do not deserve what is happening to them at all. So that's good, and at least you do have like a catharsis. Like, there's a satisfaction that comes with that.
Sounds fun. You're like selling it to me right
now. Yeah. And yeah, like I said, that's it. The cast is excellent pretty much across the board. I thought everybody was really great.
I remember reading that apparently a lot of this cast was in the Philippou brothers movies, like Talk to Me and stuff.
Yeah, so at least one that I'm aware of, the character of Amy, who's played by Alexandra Jensen, actually is in Talk to Me.
There you go.
Yeah. Australia knows what they're doing. They know how to cast people in the right stuff. But yeah, that's it. There's a lot of great like action sequences. There's a lot of great like fight scenes and things like that. There's a lot of really good gore that will be very satisfying for a lot of people, I'm sure. And it is very much tied together. I would say particularly by like Kat, like as that character, she's fucking crazy. And it does have a really satisfying final girl as well. So yeah, it's overall a really enjoyable time, but definitely go in. I think I don't mind like telling people that there are some triggers to be aware of because I was a little caught off guard by a couple of them myself.
Okay, wait, is this the movie where someone fainted?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah. So also, yeah, that's it. Sorry. You may have been seeing, if you're listening, you may have been seeing articles floating around from like Dread Central and stuff like that to indicate that there was a person who passed out during the screening of the film. That is technically correct. I was there. However, there's no way for me to be able to. I feel like people like to really push these things, and there's there's no way to know if this person fainted because they were having a medical issue or because of the gore in the film. It did take place after a particularly gnarly sequence, so it's possible that there was already a problem, but it's also possible that this person was just dealing with like low blood sugar or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
Of course.
We have no way of knowing, and that's fine. But yeah, God, I've seen this at least 3 times since then, and I'm like, geez, this poor person who this happened to should monetize this if they can. Go get that bag. Because, my God, are people using it to like write articles about and stuff? I've seen it at least 3 times. So yeah, do be aware of that. Obviously, that's it. It's kind of gnarly. But overall, I mean, I wasn't particularly bothered by it, but I'm pretty desensitized at this point. So, you know.
Australian horror movie.
And you never know, do you? You never know what's going to affect you.
I don't know how to answer that.
Sorry. No, I'm just saying you never know, like, physically what's going to have an effect on you. I've never told this story before to anybody, like, on the podcast, but I remember when we watched Gerald's Game on Netflix. Thank God we weren't in a movie theater. We had to pause it during like the hand degloving. Sorry, spoilers, but during the hand degloving, it was from like 2017. I'm sorry.
There's no need to be sorry. It's okay. Done.
During like the hand degloving scene, we needed to pause the film because I got very lightheaded and I thought I was gonna faint.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah, so you kind of never know what's gonna have an effect on you until you're in it, really. Yeah.
I want to watch this movie. You sold it to me.
Yes,
Give me the next one.
Yeah, this one's getting, like I said, this is getting a Shudder release at the end of August, so you guys will be able to check it out. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to you seeing it. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are about this.
My thoughts.
Your thoughts.
My thoughts.
In conjunction to this and shifting tones very severely is the world premiere of a film called Someone's Daughter. This was a first time obviously watch for everybody. This is a French-Canadian film that it's part of like the sort of like Quebec cinema that's showcased at Fantasia very often because obviously that's something that they do and that they promote pretty heavily. This film follows a lawyer, a criminal defense attorney who, through circumstances that are beyond her control, finds herself stranded on a very remote area in the eastern townships in Quebec with with a man who she defended against, again, assault charges
Oh, I remember that we spoke about
a
this
number of
a
years
while back.
prior, and they have to work together in the wilderness to find their way to civilization. But of course, as the story progresses, she becomes less and less maybe certain that this man was actually innocent of the crime that he was acquitted of.
Yeah, I remember that's it. We spoke about this, and I was very intrigued because of the way that it is described.
Yeah.
So I hope it, like, I guess, painted its way through that description, because it could just be very poorly done if it's not executed well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I'm kind of like looking forward to see if it was good enough.
Yeah. So, this film is definitely described as a thriller. I will say, going in, just like be aware, it's a very slow burn. So that's something you should be aware of. It's a very quiet film in spite of the circumstances that it exists in for the characters. It's a very quiet film. A lot of it is really hinging on the performances and also the interactions between the characters in the film. So we have the character, largely what we have throughout the course of the film, we have the character of Sam, who's played by Pascale Bussière, who is a pretty famous French-Canadian actress. She's been around for a very long time. She's fantastic in this film. She's so good. And also the character of Paul, who's played by François Arnault, who I think has become very publicly famous in the last year or so because of Heated Rivalry, but excuse me, I love all of us here though are going, I knew he was hot before that, but okay, everybody. I had like a love from him from like way back when he did like the Borgias back in the day. He was in that, and he was in a show called Midnight Texas that was only on for like one season. I think it was on like ABC or NBC. That is a like supernatural kind of horror show, but a little bit more fun, that I really enjoyed, and I had read a couple of the books that it's based on, so I had a really good time with that, and I'm sad it was canceled. But he played the lead character.
I remember we watched that. It was like vampires and stuff.
Oh, there's a bunch of
there was a bunch
stuff.
of things going on. Yeah.
It's like a small Texas town. He arrives there and then slowly discovers that there are a bunch of supernatural creatures in the town.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it was really fun, but I really liked that. And then the only other characters that we really see are Peter Outerbridge, who's also a very well-known actor, who does have a small role right at the beginning of the film, and like that's basically it. There are not very many people.
Damn.
In this
Okay,
movie.
so like very secluded, two people.
Yes.
And okay.
Very much. This film is co-written and directed by Wiebke von Karlsfeld. She's a German-Canadian filmmaker who has previously had films that have been very lauded at like TIFF and things. She's been like a pretty big deal in that respect. I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, that her film, is it Marlin Bridge, if I'm not mistaken, had a premiere. Yeah, had a premiere at TIFF back in 2002. Like early 2000s, and I think was one of the earliest films that Elliot Page ever starred in, and was like very heavily lauded at that time and stuff like that. So she makes very quiet dramas as a rule, like dramas maybe like leaning towards other things, but her films are very interesting to follow. So yeah, so this is basically what happens. I don't even want to read the description, because the description on IMDb gives away more of the movie than I think it
Tell
should
me
be
more.
given. No.
Well, tell me something.
Yes. Okay. So like I said, that's it. Due to certain circumstances that I won't get into, the character of Sam, who is a defense attorney, winds up on essentially a tiny island in the Eastern Townships. If you know anything about it, you know that area can get quite secluded depending on where you wind up.
Well, depending how far you go, too.
Exactly.
It's forests over there.
Very, very much. And it was shot in the Eastern Townships as well, which is a beautiful area. It is stunning. The cinematography in this film, this setting, really the nature that they're in becomes the setting of the film.
Of course.
And it's almost like its own character, because they're trying to get out of it. And it's just, it's beautiful the entire way through. It's such a stunning film to watch. And between that and really strong performances between these two leads, who really only have each other to play off of, essentially. It's really excellently made. And so again, it is described as a thriller. I don't know that I would necessarily go that far with it. It does feel like more of a darker drama to a degree, because it doesn't necessarily have all of the twists and turns that you expect in a thriller. I feel like most of the story, it was pretty clear. Like, I don't think that there were any very big surprises in the movie.
Oh, that kind of sucks, no?
A little bit, yes. Like maybe I would have preferred for it to be something like a little bit more ambiguous than it was. However, due to the story that they're telling, I do kind of understand that the director would also want people to know, like, no, this is where I'm going with this. So I do kind of understand why she did what she did.
When do you find that out? Is it more like in the middle, towards the end?
Oh no, it's definitely towards the end. It's just, I will say, it's not surprising.
Right.
I guess,
Okay. Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Well, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of just great stuff to do with the interactions between the characters, like Sam and Paul, and the way that one, they obviously fight against the nature around them and all of what they have to deal with that, but then also their dynamic between each other, because the case in which she represented him was 15 years prior, so it's been a long time since this has occurred. And obviously, they're different people than they were at that time as well, and all sorts of other mitigating factors. And then factor in the sort of man versus nature aspect of it, that adds like an additional layer of things too. And the script is very clever because they layer in certain just very quick aspects of things to do with like character development, where they don't linger on it, but they give you a quick explanation as to like, okay, that's why this is happening. Because
it's just enough type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. There are indications about like, certain aspects of Sam's character and why maybe she's honestly pretty fucking good at surviving in the wild, that you're just kind of like, oh, okay, all right, cool.
But
yeah,
how
sure.
did they end up there?
That's spoiling things.
Why is that spoiling?
I don't want to give that away. That's a spoiler. I don't want to give it away. I'm sorry.
I don't believe you.
I mean, you can go read the IMDb synopsis if you want to, and it'll literally tell you. That's just stupid, but whatever.
All right.
Anyway, yeah. So like that aspect of it is really good, and then like a couple of other things too. Like like obviously we've just seen François Arnault have shirtless a whole bunch in a hockey TV show recently, so we're like all aware that he's in very good shape. And there are just offhanded things, like offhanded lines about the fact that he runs in a bunch of triathlons, so you're like, oh good, okay, see, we're getting like small, like maybe sort of not necessarily important explanations, but explanations as to why we are the way that we are and why these characters are doing what they're doing in these circumstances. And I appreciated it. It was just clever writing.
Good exposition, I guess.
Correct.
Sure.
And yeah, other than that, that's it. Between the two of them, the chemistry is fucking fantastic between the two of them. It was great. The setting was stunning, even though, like I said, I wasn't necessarily surprised at the outcome. I was still engaged because I think the dynamic was so good between them, and it's such a great exploration of a woman who is in this position in which she has like defended this person for doing something to a woman, allegedly, and her own kind of like work through that, she like her kind of like process of working through all of that she has to go through internally as well. And like not all of it, it's not all expository, it's not all dialogue and stuff that's played out, but you can just see the process of what's happening for her throughout the course of the movie, and I thought it was very intelligently done.
Like through her going through the decisions and everything that happened. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it was really interesting, and honestly, I quite enjoyed it.
Okay, well, so seriously, I am still intrigued. I still want to check it out because when we read about it,
I think you need to watch both.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to watch both of them.
Yes.
At least they don't come out too far apart from each other. When is this one coming out?
So supposedly. You know what? I actually am not 100% sure because this was its world premiere, but I'm very, very, very much hoping that it gets a release. I mean, at the very least in our area, I get the feeling it will.
Yeah.
And then hopefully nationally, we get a little bit, at least across the board, and people are able to access it more. That would be great.
Do it. Someone, please do it. Please, I want to see
Somebody do it.
They don't have other screenings, please.
I know.
All right. What do you give it? How many digs?
I think right now I'm probably sitting at like a 7.5.
Okay, damn, that's pretty fucking high.
Yeah, I would say so. I think the performances and the backdrop and everything are so strong. And I mean, obviously, I don't know, maybe it's like a woman watching a film like this that has to do with the subject matter that it's dealing with or something, has enough of an effect on me. You don't necessarily need to see everything on screen to be affected by it, and I think that this is a film that kind of proves that as well.
Yeah.
And that's it. Just more than anything, the interactions between the characters and the writing in the film was very, very strong. So
I mean, I hope so. It's literally two people, so I can only imagine.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Yeah, so no, really great. Really, really good.
Cool. I
Yeah.
mean, very cool. Hey, I'm still on board with all of them. You didn't reveal too much that I don't want
I
to see
hope
it,
not.
but you also gave me enough that I do want to see it. You know what I mean? So,
One other thing that I do want to highlight, actually, which I'm going to try to do a little bit in the reviews, and we will try to do with some of the other films that we're seeing as well, is just quickly highlight the short films that are playing before the films
right. Yeah,
happen.
because they're always a little bit of a short film before.
Exactly. So I will say Someone's Daughter did not have a short that played prior to the start of the film.
Oh, interesting.
However, Penny Lane is Dead did. And it was a fun sort of comedic thriller type of film, which was called Best Friends with the Devil, which was directed by Hugo de Sousa. I believe that he co-wrote the film as well. It's just funny. It's 10 minutes long. It follows a woman who believes that she's received like an indication that her best friend has gone missing. And so she is, and boy, it was while she was on a hike of all things. And apparently, like, she doesn't really do that very often, and she normally shares her location and stuff like that. So the friend, the main character, she's meeting up with a guy who has indicated to her, like, oh yeah, I saw her on this hike. So she's meeting up with him on the hiking trail. And while they're on the trail, she starts to realize, like, maybe this is a lie and this guy's here to kill her. Basically, like, this guy's going to murder her on the trail, like maybe he murdered her friend.
Right, yes.
But the whole thing is kind of like a comedy of errors.
Oh, no.
To a degree, like, things are mixed up and then she does something really fucking crazy while also, like, trying to get a hold of her friend. It's a series of events that you're like, oh no, not more of this. Oh God, oh dear. And it's just funny. Like, it's one of those films that utilizes the idea of, like, something being repeated and a person going too far with something, but that makes you laugh.
Right, yeah.
It was fun and it was funny, and personally I had a really good time with it for what it was. It was just enjoyable, and I heard, like, a lot of people laughed during pretty hefty parts of the movie, but it was really good.
That's a good way to lighten what is the next movie, Penny Lane is Dead. That's
because man, there were comedic moments, but boy, oh boy, were there moments that you're like, oh,
well, that's what I'm saying.
Oh God, okay, what the fuck? So yeah, so that was good. But I like to, highlight those as we go. I'm gonna have another couple of ones, and we will have, I'm sure, because there are some shorts showing before some of the other films that we're gonna be seeing.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna highlight those as we go too. Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, these were fun. They were interesting. They were both good films. Very, very different, but interestingly with some similar ties.
Right.
I would say there are terrible male characters in both of these films.
Your themes are just great.
Men are terrible.
Oh,
there must be other people like me out there, and I'm sure that this is the case. There must be other women out there like me who spend their time being like, fuck men, they're awful, except mine. Mine is good because that's the reason that we're together.
And how about your friends?
Yeah, they're okay too.
Wow, they're just okay.
It really depends,
Oh, God.
They're all right. So, yeah. We're going to have another episode coming your way, I'm sure, in the next couple of days. Because we have so many more movies.
So many drops every day.
I'm pretty sure for where you are listening to this right now, I think we're going to have easily another, like, 7 or 8 films before the end of this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to count extremely quickly in my head, and I think that that's probably what we're looking at. So, yeah, keep an eye out for that, because we're going to have a lot. In the meantime, obviously, follow us on our socials. We're at Gravetone Pod, so you will see when all of these episodes are dropping and when everything's coming out, and that'll be really fun. And check out the website, gravetonepod.com. We have an entire section over there dedicated to our Fantasia coverage and everything that we're covering for the festival, so you can check that out, too, if you want some upcoming recommendations to be aware of on the horizon.
Yeah, and those that you should actually know, not just the big releases that you see ads all the time everywhere.
Exactly.
These are absolutely worth it, even though they're a little bit smaller.
Yeah, they're great. So anyway, until next time, guys, in a day or two, stay scared and stay tuned.
Ciao, guys.